A monastery is surrounded by a beautiful mountain range, and we live in a beautiful rubber forest. So I constantly wonder, while looking at that mountain range, I constantly wonder, what is the color of those trees? Let me ask you that question. What do you think? Of course, it's green, right? The color is green. Then I'll ask you another question. What is the color of the trees when you don't look at those? Is it still green? Of course. Are you sure? Then what about at night? What is the color of the trees at night? Mostly you see it as gray or black, right? Of course. Then tell me, what is the real color of the trees? If you see it at night as black and during the daytime as green, what is the real color of the trees? Is it green or black? Of course, it does. So I'm asking you this question. Think about it. What is the color of the things that you associate? If it depends on the light. Can you see these flowers? What is the color of these flowers? It's magenta, right? And this one is pink and white. And there's in the middle, it's orange. So if we put a white light, then it's magenta. If you put a green light or a blue one, dark blue light, then what is the effect? The light gives an effect, a lighting effect. And what is the color? The flower becomes dark blue. Then I'm going to ask you a question. What is the real color of the flower? Is it blue? Is it magenta? Or do you have an answer to that question? Think about it for a moment. We give priority to the color, to the beauty. When we live in this world, we live in a very colorful and very beautiful world, don't we? We go places. We plan vacations to see things, see the beauty of the nature. And sometimes we put makeup. We have a huge collection of colors there. And sometimes we have dresses. Have you seen the colors of the dresses that you have? Very beautiful, vivid, and artistic. Sometimes we collect art with different color. We spend hours and hours collecting those, and we spend time and money. But the thing is, have you understood the reality behind the color? That's what we are going to talk about today. So let's take these flowers for a moment. So when you take this flower, how do you recognize that there is a flower here? If this flower is not magenta, if it is the same color as my attire, light yellow, if the flower is as the same color as my attire, then would you recognize this flower? Would you see that there is a flower here? Would you? No. Even though there is a flower, you would never recognize it. That means that you recognize this as a flower because of the color, because of the contrast. Let me draw it for you. So this is the flower that you saw. and this is the background. So you saw this part as orange, right? And then this part as magenta and this one as white. So these are the three colors that you recognized, and you thought that the flower is very beautiful. It's magnificent. It's very attractive. I want that flower. I want to own it. You don't need to put this example into flower. You can put it into anything that you like in your life, that you admire. Could be your dress. Could be when you put a perfect makeup. When you are looking at yourself. Or when you look at your son or your daughter, you think, wow, they're so cute, they're so beautiful. Or maybe your loved ones, your husband, your boyfriend, or your girlfriend. You think they are very pretty. In such moments, try to think how the color deceives you. So we were talking about this flower, which is actually a combination of colors. I'll prove it to you. So this one is orange, right? Do you like orange? Of course you like the flower, you think it's beautiful, but I'm asking you about the orange. Isn't that the same orange that you experience when you see a carrot? Do you like to see carrots? Do you like carrots? Do you like the orange that you see? Do you like pumpkins, the color of it? But it's the same color, right? It is the same color that you see in a pumpkin, in a carrot, that you see in the middle of it. And what is the specialty in orange then? Just a color. We recognize the color. That's how we know that there is something there. This mind recognizes the color. And then, what about the petals? Magenta, or let's say dark pink. Do you like magenta? Do you like red? If you like this dark magenta, or let's call it red to make it simple, if you like this red color, then why don't you like blood? Do you like to see blood? Do you like to see the beetroot? Why not? If you like red, then you should like blood as well. But we don't have a specific preference over that. But we think this is beautiful. So the color that you see is red, but the feeling that you feel goes beyond that, right? So the red is red. There's no specialty in it. And then when we say white, you might say, no, it's something to do with the background. Okay, then let's take white. What about white? Do you like white? Do you think white is beautiful? White is, you can see it in the wall behind you. Would you like to stare at a projector screen for 5 hours because you like white? Can you? No. Then what is the beauty in white? White color. White color is everywhere. If you think white is beautiful, then a white dress, whiteness in your teeth. Do you like to look at your teeth? Think about these things, ladies and gentlemen. So then the color is color. There is no specialty in it. But when you put all these three colors together, it's like pixels, let's say small pixels of colors, one at a time. Red, orange, white. Red, orange, and white. These three put together, and there is a combination created. And that combination you find as a flower. Wow! Now that's a flower, and that is beautiful. Did the beauty exist in white color that you saw? Or the orange color that you saw? Or the red color? Taking it separately, you cannot find any beauty. You cannot find any happiness or the pleasure in it. But when you put it all together, you feel like I am looking at a flower, and that gives you the sensation. That gives you the pleasure. And you feel like, I like that flower because it's very beautiful. But I want you to think about this. Does the beauty exist here? The color that you see is combined, and it's an effect that is felt to you. Pleasure or the happiness doesn't exist there. The orange color, no happiness. The red color, no happiness. The white color, no happiness. Orange color, no happiness. Red color, no happiness. Again, red color, no happiness. White color, no happiness. But when you combine it all together, alas, happiness. How come? How come? Question yourself. What is the basis of that? How come there exists a happiness in a combination if none of the underlying causes had it? Let's think about the flower first. Now, can you see that there is a lie behind it? That when you say that the flower is beautiful, try to understand that there was never a flower. There was a combination of colors, and the recognition happens. When the recognition happens, it's a collection of colors. And you feel a happiness or a pleasure or a beauty there as a flower, but the thing is, there was never a flower, just a collection of colors. And in those colors, there never was a happiness. If there was, then you will have to love everything that is red. You will have to love everything that is white. You will have to love everything that is orange. But that's not the case. So where does this happiness come from? Where does this pleasure or the feeling of specialty come from? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the deception. That is the deception. That you feel a happiness that doesn't exist anywhere. And we go after it. Think about the unsatiable appetite that you feel when you think that something is beautiful. You want to own it, you want to look at it. You just can't stop looking at it. You want to own it for yourself. A dress, when you go to a shop, when you do window shopping, how many times have you looked at that dress behind that window just thinking, wow, that's a beautiful dress. I wish I had that one. How many times did you wish that you had such a beautiful jewelry for yourself? The desire, the insatiable appetite, but that never got sated, did it? The fire that you have within you never got quenched. That is the question, because we are going after something that the objects doesn't possess. None of it does. Because the color is an illusion. The first question that I asked you, what is the color of the tree? And I'm going to ask you again, what is the color of this flower? What do you think? When you don't see them, tell me now, what is the color of the flowers? When you see your son, that is when you feel that he is so cute. When you don't look at them, when you don't look at this, what is the color of the flowers? So then the color that we talk about occurs then and there, at that very moment. The color of the trees At that very moment, that when you look at it, you feel it as green. The next moment, okay, it's midnight, and you go outside and you see some trees, and what is the color then? Black. So the color occurs there. The color occurs at that very moment. So then color is not an intrinsic characteristic of a tree. Color is not an intrinsic characteristic of anything that you associate. It occurs there. Where does it occur? In your mind. It is the recognition in that we call mind. That is how you perceive, that is how you recognize. And that you call magenta, that you call orange, that you call white. And that occurs then and there. Then why are we thinking that this particular dress is red and it is very beautiful because of that, so I have to buy it? That person is very, very handsome. That person is very beautiful and cute. You feel. When you feel it, you go after it. You can't stop yourself. But the thing is, that object doesn't have a color. The color occurs the moment that you recognize it. In your mind, the color occurs in your mind. It is not a characteristic in an object. When you understand this truth, going after it stops. When you understand this great truth, you don't chase after objects. You don't chase after the things, thinking that this will give me happiness, that will give me happiness. Because you understand that the happiness or the color, the beauty, the feeling of specialty, none of those things exist in the objects that you associate. What a relief. What a relief. Because you don't need to go after those anymore. You don't need to earn money to buy those. You don't need to save money. You don't need to put a lot of effort to protect those anymore. Don't you think the life becomes light? Don't you think that it becomes effortless? It becomes very free. That is the freedom that we want you to experience, ladies and gentlemen. Come with us. Join with us. This is the path to freedom. You might think, I'm already free. What is this freedom that they're talking about? I'm free. Really? Are you? When you want something, when you feel like something is beautiful and you want to buy it and you want to make it your own, when you want to look at something and you can't, are you free at that moment? Don't you feel like you've been tied with a rope and you can't, you have shackles and you can't release yourself at that very moment? That is not the freedom. The real freedom lies behind understanding this truth. And only by understanding this truth, you'll be free from the shackles that you put to yourself. So join with us and understand this real freedom.